Strachan tried it once. Never again. If it wasn't for his little legs, then he might never have made it back from Mexico in 1986, let alone gone on to become the manager of Celtic and Scotland in his later years. So Strachan allowed himself a wry smile on Sunday evening when the very man he built both of those sides around disappeared over the hoardings at Rugby Park, having just sparked the onset of a victory lap towards 8 in a row. And yet, for the life of him, he still can't fathom exactly why Scott Brown was rewarded for his match-winning moment with an early shower from ref Bobby Madden. Strachan signed Scott Brown from Hibs in 2007. Image, SNS Group 0141-221-3602. Speaking exclusively to Record Sport, Strachan said, "To be honest, I'm still trying to work out exactly what it is that Bruni did wrong. I'm not sure about the exact wording of the rules, so maybe somebody out there will tell me differently. But I thought Scott stopped about 3 yards away from the crowd. I've seen that quite a lot in games and players haven't been booked for it. Was it his fault that the crowd then jumped out of the stand and came to him? Most of the bookings I've seen for celebrations like that have been for players who jump into the crowd or throw their shirts into the crowd and cause havoc. But he stopped 3 yards away and didn't throw his shirt in, so I don't see a problem with what he did. The problem was the crowd couldn't control themselves, and that is a worry because it's important to remember that paramount consideration must go to the health and safety of younger and older fans who can be caught up in crowd surges. If the rule is that you can't jump over the hoardings, then that's another matter. But what happens if the hoardings are 15 yards away like they are at Lazio, for example? You can jump over them and nobody gets booked for that. But when you are celebrating in front of your own fans and you have stopped 3 yards away from them, I honestly don't see the problem. There will be an amendment somewhere that we don't know about yet that will happen during the night. Oh wait a minute, if you look at it closely from this angle and study the video replays, then you can see he's clearly broken the rules. That seems to be the way it goes, which is why, with the benefit of hindsight, Strachan is probably relieved he couldn't manage to get his own leg over after opening the scoring in that World Cup clash with the West Germans 33 years ago. He smiled. "That's right. I'm lucky I couldn't get over those hoardings, as someone from the SFA might get me in retrospect. I'm so glad I couldn't do it. It's all gone a bit too far now when a player can't celebrate a winning goal in the last minute of such an important match. I might be wrong. There might be other examples of a booking like that when someone has stopped 3 yards from the crowd and got a yellow card for it. If there is, then there can be no complaints. The argument is killed stone dead." Scott Brown scores the winner. Image, SNS Group. But if you can't find an example of that, there's an argument that Scott shouldn't have been sent off. And Strachan believes the context of Sunday's last gasp winner at Rugby Park, as well as its potential significance in the title race, should be taken into account. He went on, "It was a big game, all right. On Friday night, if you're Steven Gerrard or Derek McInnes, you are thinking to yourself, if we win on Saturday we are going to put them under all kinds of pressure. Celtic then have got to go to face the form team of the last year on a plastic pitch. That will be great for us." In the back of their heads they're thinking the gap at the top might be down to 3 points. Then, by Monday morning, it's actually 8 points. That's a huge body blow for everybody else, but Strachan insists the victory for the Hoops has not yet cemented another crown for Brendan Rodgers and his Parkhead players. He said, "You've always got it in the back of your mind that you can lose it. You're always worried that you could be the guy who loses it. So the Rangers players will now be hoping to eat into it and try to put that added pressure on them." The artificial pitch at Rugby Park. Image, SNS Group. It's 8 points now, but if they get it back down to 3, then that gives Celtic a real problem. How do they deal with that mentally? So that's what Rangers have to be aiming for. to claw back a couple of points and try to get it back to within 3 points with 3 or 4 games to go. Even though Brown's injury time strike added a sense of late drama to proceedings, committed anti-plastic campaigner Strachan won't be changing his mind on the big synthetic surface debate anytime soon. The 62-year-old said, "You're not trying to tell me that was a good game yesterday? It was interesting because of what was at stake, but it wasn't even exciting. It pricked my interest and that was about it, but it wasn't exciting because it's not a real game of football on a plastic pitch." As Brendan says, the ball doesn't move properly like it does on a real pitch. It just doesn't move. It could go anywhere. But I don't think it's up to managers or players to make an issue of this. I think it's up to the SFA or the SPFL to look at it and ask themselves, are we selling the right product around the world? You're testing the patience of fans elsewhere who don't have an emotional investment in these games. They're just going to switch over and watch something else.